group game between the hometown Newcastle Eagles and the visitors, the Leicester Riders. Big game in prospect today, with the Eagles having to win by 14 points to advance to the next round. Leicester obviously just need to win or lose by less than 14. The Leicester side on paper looks very strong, probably one of the better sides in the league, and they've already had 2 very good wins so far. They line up as follows: number 5, Holly Winterburn; number 7, Ella Clark; number 8, Anna Lappen Cooper; number 11, Sarah Hinrichsdottir; number 14, Christina Gaskin; number 1, Robin Ainge; number 3, Kate Januska; number 6, Hannah Robb; number 12, Whitney Allen; and number 41, Kate Oliver. Dave, your thoughts about the Leicester team?
Well, as you say, I mean, hard as it is to predict what might happen this season, I'm pretty sure that most WBBL followers will have both teams as strong candidates for top 3 and trophies this year, along with Sevenoaks. And those in the Midlands will make a strong case for riders near neighbours Wildcats, who, as you say, have already qualified from this group and had a big win yesterday. And who can rule out the Eagles' neighbours, Durham, having reached 2 finals last season. In terms of the riders, I think you're right. They had pretty much a 7-man rotation when I saw them, and players who stood out in that game to me were Ella Clark, who I thought had a pretty smart game from start to finish, Sarah Hinrichsdottir, who I rate very highly from watching her play last season, and Kate Oliver, who is always a tough competitor.
And as we move to the Eagles team, there was an injury doubt over Manti Kverdovica, but she's managed to make past her fitness test, but unfortunately Abby Lowe hasn't, so she does drop out. But the Eagles are boosted by the inclusion of a new player for them, former Manchester Mystics Georgia Smith, who makes her debut for the Eagles this afternoon. So the Eagles line up number 4, Maddie McVicker, who had a fantastic game last week and made the BBL Team of the Week, as did Christine Gaskin and Kate Oliver for Leicester, I must admit. Number 6, Millie Oates; number 7, Lisa Coop; number 8, Rachel Bland; number 10, Georgia Smith; number 14, Ori Chukwidu; number 16, Molly Arnold; number 21, Manti Kverdovica; number 23, Ali Gorrell, who also made the BBL Team of the Week; and number 32, Molly Taylor. Interesting to see Georgia Smith in this side, Dave.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking, I mentioned that, the game I saw was the Riders against Nottingham Wildcats, where they pretty much rotated 7 main players. Last week, I feel that the Eagles relied very much on 6 players, but, as we know today, we've not seen Georgia Smith, so that well could be a 7-man lineup as well. And the 3 players that have stood out for me last week were Mandy McVicker, Manti, get it right, Kverdovica, and I thought Ali Gorrell had a pretty tough game as well last week.
Yeah, so it's all set. We've got about 6 minutes or so to go. So Leicester have had 2 really good wins. They beat Manchester Mystics 65-44, and then followed that up with a win over the Wildcats, Nottingham Wildcats, by 61-48. And as Dave's already mentioned, Nottingham Wildcats 101-75 yesterday over Manchester Mystics. And all that means is that if Leicester avoid defeat by less than 14, they will go through. So the Eagles have to win by 14 to go through. And lots been made about the Eagles as well. Obviously, they lost that first game down in Nottingham by 64-51 when they were leading at half-time, albeit just by a couple of points. And then last week against Manchester Mystics, Mystics really gave them a good game, and perhaps Eagles should have won by a few more, but they got the win by 10 points, and I think just they were easing people back into the roster as well.
Yeah. So I think in terms of other players to look out for at Leicester, I certainly think that Holly Winterburn will be a factor in this game. She's obviously had experience 1 year in the States last year, and then obviously with everything that's gone this year, she's returned to this country. She's averaging 13 points, 11 rebounds and 6 assists in the situation so far. I think Christina Gaskin had a really strong second half last week as well. So there's 2 other players, and As far as the home team are concerned, I think I'm seeing a lot of improvements in Lisa Coop's game. She's certainly looking more comfortable when she's 6-8 feet from the basket in terms of having a nice little stroke on her shot. And one player I thought had a really good game last week as well for the Eagles was Rachel Bland, homegrown talent. We used to always talk about her being a strong defensive player, but she's also starting to, averaging 4.5, 6.5 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals a game as well. So thought she made a pretty good contribution last week. And if players want to do what they used to do to Rachel, which is just stand off her when she gets the ball on the perimeter, that's no longer the case. She's comfortable putting it on the floor, attacking the basket, and she's also stroked a couple of nice threes so far.
Yeah, you talked about Lisa Coop, and we've also mentioned for Newcastle, and you've also mentioned Kate Oliver for Leicester, the Australian, and those two are probably going to go at it all game long with the rebounding stakes. But they've also got, Leicester have got a little bit more size, I think, because they've got Ella Clark as well, who's a very good rebounder as well, and that could be where one of the keys to the game. But again, you look at the Eagles, and the backcourt of McVicker and Gorrell looked excellent last week, and adding Georgia Smith as a shooting guard to that could be the key for them. If they shoot well, it's going to give them a good chance.
Well, that third quarter last week against the Mystics? Mandy and Allison absolutely lit the 3-point line up.
So we'll have to see whether the Eagles can pick up a win. I'm talking to one or two people. One of the Eagles press officers, Simon Rushworth, who covers this game, covers the WBBL side a lot. He was saying that he thinks, obviously they want to win by 14, but he says he thinks even if they just managed to get a win, they would be pretty pleased with that, because this is a tough side that they're playing today, and obviously if Leicester win, they're 3-0 for the season, and that really sets their stall out as we're about to go into the league, sort of thing,
Yeah, I think that you think of who's going to guard who here, and Lisa Coop may be given the task of guarding Kate Oliver. That's not simple at all, because Kate Oliver is absolutely flat out wants to shoot it from the 3-point line. She's a really stretched 4 or 5.
As you mentioned as well about Holly Winterburn, who's she's really averaging 13 points and 11 rebounds, as you said, and she was going to go to the University of California, Davis at the beginning of this year, but obviously the coronavirus pandemic put paid to that, so that's been a great pickup for Leicester in that respect. And they've also got somebody who we haven't mentioned, Dave, and the ex-Caledonian Pride player Hannah Robb, who's currently in the JB squad. She's
been getting a lot of minutes as well. The coach of the JB squad had a lot of faith of her in her against the Polish team, and she had a pretty good game. But I think in terms of, I quite fancy that Mandy Oliver and Ali Gorrell will give her a hard time. I like them in the backcourt for the Eagles.
Interesting starting 5 for the Eagles. Just noticed going up there, it's Maddie McVicker and Alison Gorrell in the backcourt, and then we have Rachel Bland and Molly Taylor gets the start in front of Manti Kverdovic, who we did hear had a bit of an injury, so perhaps that's just taking that little bit of a Chris Bolton probably doesn't want to take that gamble early on, and she obviously lines up, and Lisa Cooper in the centre for the Riders. The starting 5 is Hannah Robb and Anna Lappin Cooper, with Christina Gaskin earning a spot in the starting 5 after a performance off the bench last week, along with Kate Oliver and Sarah Hinrichsdottir.
Well, that's an interesting from the Eagles' point of view. I mean, I can't imagine there'd be any other reason than an injury that Kaveda Shoot would be not starting this game, and if she's not able to play a lot, this could make a difference.
Yeah, I think after what we saw both last season and even just last week, I think that it does make a big difference to the Eagles lineup when Manti is playing, and do apologise to people who are watching. Sometimes I'll call her Manti, sometimes I'll go with Kaveda Vishut, I must admit, after last week, I was kind of half expecting a phone call sometime this week to tell us what it actually was. Didn't get that phone call, so I must have been pretty close.
Yeah.
And I did think the Icelandic player for Leicester, Sarah Hinrichsdottir, I wasn't sure about that one, but apparently it is exactly how you say it. And literal translation, I believe, is Henrik's daughter. So there you go.
Okay.
So
well, I've been practicing Sarah and Mandy just in case.
I think in the heat of the game as well, Dave, sometimes it gets a little bit hard to call. But we're looking forward to this, and we should be underway very shortly.
I have to say also, just as a last thought before this game, one thing really impressed me about the Eagles last week was their work rate.
They do look very, very much a squad that's very together, and they come out, and Leicester come out as well.
Yeah, as you say, Molly Taylor starting. She certainly got some useful minutes last week for the Eagles.
Yeah, came off the bench with a lot of energy, I thought. Very much so.
But the fascinating one for me is Coop v Oliver. Kate Oliver will just spot up on that 3-point lane if she's getting a hard time on Coop inside.
I think there's a bit of a. I think there's one of the problems here is that Hannah Robb was in the starting 5 and Holly Winterburn wasn't. I don't know if that's just an error by Jesper Sundgren or not, because
well, pretty much she'll go and sit on the subs spare chair. Actually, there isn't one, is there? Things to get used to in these COVID rules. Obviously, they come out the stands, don't they? The subs.
So the ball's going up. Tip won by Kate Oliver. Ball in the hands of Lappin Cooper. Leicester with the first offence. Notice Holly Winterburn still standing next to her coach, so perhaps it's going to come straight on. And there's a shot from Hannah Robb, which is off. Molly Taylor takes a rebound, and the ball in the hands of University of Maine's Maddie McVicker. Gives it Alison Gorrell. Back to McVicker. McVicker has a look inside to Lisa Coop, but can't find that pass. Kate Oliver and Lisa Coop already battling up, and here's Lisa Coop going to play. Kate Oliver bringing the ball over the line.
Yeah, Mandy McVicker was a little slow there in recognising what options were available after executing that pick and roll with Coop.
And there's that 3-point shot that Dave was talking about from Kate Oliver. And it's the first points of the game, and that is something the Eagles are going to have to watch out for. And you mentioned it already, and she's answered your call, Dave.
If I was Kate Oliver, I would want to keep Lisa Coop out there.
And there is that substitution, first opportunity they get. Holly Winterburn comes into the game for Hannah Robb.
Probably why Hannah got that early shot off.
yeah. She's probably thinking I might not get another one.
Yeah.
So here's Maddie McVicker to Alison Gorrell. Nice step by Alison. Gives the ball to Lisa. Back out to Maddie McVicker, who thought about the 3 but didn't shoot it. Rachel Bland inside to Lisa Coop. Lisa Coop's left-handed hook shot doesn't quite make it. And away comes Leicester again. It's Christina Gaskin, and there's Holly Winterburn's first impact on the game, and it's a right-handed layup to give Leicester a 5-point lead. Alison Gorrell underneath the basket, but coming back out. Molly Taylor from the corner for 3. In and out from Molly, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm so disappointed that didn't fall for the Eagles, because that was an excellent example of a player knowing when that extra pass was going to create a wide open look for a teammate.
Lappin Cooper's 3 is short. Rebound taken by Gaskin. She can't put it back in, but she manages to recycle the offensive rebound. Gives it back to Holly Winterburn. Holly Winterburn for 3, and that one's in as well, and that's an 8-0 start for Leicester. They're looking very hot already.
Plenty of options as well. I mean, Gascon's, 6'2".
Yeah.
Big frame. She can shoot the ball. She can take it to the basket.
Ali Gorrell from the elbow fails to make it. Lappin Cooper straight up. He has Henrik's daughter, and that one's just off as well. So that's 4 of the Leicester current 5 have all had a 3-point shot attempt. Yeah, I think people look at Christina Gaskin and think she's a guard, but I mean, as you say, she's 6'2" and really more of a forward than a guard. He has Oliver to Gaskin. Nice fake, but she's lost the handle, but once again, fights very hard to get it back. Referee calls a jump ball, and the ball's in the favour of the Eagles.
Well, I think, 8-0 down, 2.5 played. What we need from the Eagles here is set up, get your offense set, make it work, and try and get a really good high percentage shot.
McVicker into Bland and back to McVicker. She brings the ball over halfway, guarded by Lappin Cooper. To Gorrell. There's Rachel Bland. Rachel Bland thought about the three, didn't shoot it. Taylor. Gorrell again. Nice turn. Lovely pass inside as well to Rachel Bland, but she just got blocked out by Holly Winterburn.
Yeah.
Eagles ball end line.
Nice offense, exactly what we asked for. And Rachel went fairly hard to the basket, but obviously a much taller player behind her was able to swat the shot away.
Gorrell into Coop. Coop going to attack the basket hard. That's a travel. Extra step as she tried to get around Kate Oliver.
Yeah, you can see what's going to happen here, can't you? Kate Oliver's going to want to shoot the three over Coop, and Coop's going to want to take her around the bucket.
Yeah, can't be often that Kate Oliver plays against somebody who's actually taller than her. Kate Oliver at 6'4", and Lisa Coop at 6'6". Oh, nearly a great pass. Nice idea from Kate Oliver, but she just couldn't find Holly Winterburn.
Yeah. Chris Bunton obviously going to be a lot more comfortable when he sees the Eagles starting to register on the scoreboard side of the.
It's interesting that the Eagles haven't scored, and if you think about Chris Bunton's big mate is Mark Stootle, and obviously Great Britain had a similar sort of problem early on Friday night against France. So they went down early.
15 zip,
and very similar at this point, but only 8 zip at the moment. But he has Lappin Cooper with a chance to set something up for Leicester. Oliver thought about the three, didn't shoot it. Winterburn uses Oliver as a screen, turns the corner back out to Oliver. Nice pass from Winterburn, but Oliver's 3-point shots off. Lappin Cooper though does well to get the offensive rebound. Back to Hinrichs-Stoker. In she goes for 2 points. Layup doesn't make it, but she gets the offensive rebound. The putback doesn't go, and Maddie McVicker, who we talked about last week, being only 5'4", but getting away for a rebound, and that's brilliant play from McVicker. Not only did she get the rebound, she also managed the long court pass to Rachel Bland, who'd slipped out. Rachel Bland was able to lay it in for the Eagles 2 points, but got a little knock in the face for her troubles.
Yeah, I mean, the early signs are here that Eagles have found a player in Maddie McVicker, because we talked most of the first half against the Mystics about her ability to handle the ball, set the players up, control the game. Then we saw her light it up from the 3-point line in the second, but throughout the entire game we saw her playing some pretty useful defence and taking some big boards. I'm not sure how many boards she took last week, but it felt like it was at least 5 or 6.
Oh, it was more than that, Dave. I think she finished with a double-double. So great.
I mean, Coop's got that extra little bit of height to make Kate Oliver think twice about that 3-pointer. She's just accustomed to catching and shooting. But if you notice what happened there, the moment the ball was passed away and Coop went to help, they immediately went back to Kate Oliver for the wide open 3. That's going to be an issue all night long for Coop. How much do I help out?
Rachel Bland looking a little bit shaky. She comes up, obviously got something in the eye then.
Well, I hope she's okay, because she's so important to this team. A, she gives them really tough, hard-nosed defence. And secondly, she works absolutely solidly without the ball.
And, yeah, she's replaced by Ori Chukwu Etu. Comes on.
Another player who'll play with a lot of energy and give you some good defence.
So Lappin Cooper.
A lot of switching going on there by the Eagles to make sure nobody was left wide open.
Hinrichs-Stoker, and there's a nice steal by Chukwu Etu. Gives it to Gorrell on the wing. Gorrell comes inside, throws it out. Molly Taylor for 3. That doesn't go, but good rebound by Lisa Coop. Unfortunately, doesn't make the layup. This time, the second time she does. And already Lisa Coop dominating on the boards inside.
Yeah.
First shot was away, but second shot went in, and she was fouled in making it, and she'd go to the line to shoot an extra one.
Mm-hmm. I mean, bit of difference here. Last week she gave, was it Hannah Shaw? I think she was matched up very hard time. She was taking rebounds, not bringing them down, but against Kate Oliver there, she felt the need to bring it down and step back away from the basket to get her second put back up.
Unfortunately, misses the shot from the charity stripe, but the Eagles are back in this game at 8-4. Hinrichs-Stoker, Oliver. There's another nice bounce pass, and Holly Winterburn read her really well, and lovely cut and layup for 2.
Just about to say that Chris Bunton will have been pleased with that phase of play, because they kept Leicester scoreless for a couple of minutes.
Alison Gorrell's pass is just a little bit too long for Lisa Coop, and if it's too long for Lisa Coop, nobody else is going to get a hold of it. Oh, nice ball movement by Leicester, but good hands by Lisa Coop back on defence, and Maddie McVicker comes away. She's going to go all the way to the basket, and she's fouled as she goes up by Christina Gaskin. Nice smart play by McVicker. She'll go up the line to shoot 2.
Well, it's interesting if they give her the 2, because to me she was absolutely definitely passing that ball off to the cut-in player coming in from the left.
Ella Clark and Hannah Robb come on for Sarah Hingstotter and Holly Winterburn.
But she's going to get the 2 shots. I mean, I just thought she was passing off to Molly Taylor.
On the line for 2. This is the first. Second one is good. 10-5 Leicester lead. Just over the halfway point of the first quarter. Ella Clark. There's going to be a foul on, I think it's on Maddie McVicker. Yeah.
That's probably the first time, Jeff, that either of us have mentioned Ellie Clark, but she just reads the game so well. She does exactly what is needed all the time. She took the ball in that high horn set there. First look was for the person coming in from the weak side under the basket.
Holly Winterburn, Kate Oliver, Clark, back out to Oliver, Oliver for 3, knocks it down again. Lisa Coop having a tough time, as you predicted,
well,
Dave.
the run this horns play quite a lot. This horns play is nowhere near as popular as it used to be, but they're pretty good at executing it, and they've got the type of players who can take advantage of it.
Turnover there by the Eagles.
There she is again, look, she just does exactly what is needed.
Most people watching will know that Ella Clark is the sister of Great Britain's Dan Clark. And there's another 3-pointer from Kate Oliver. That's her 3rd of the game already. And Chris Button calls a timeout, and we'll be back after these messages from our sponsors.
And the problems she's creating, but the issue here that Chris Bunton's got is about guarding her. Is Lisa Coop doesn't really? She's going to close her down tight. She's going to get beaten on the dribble.
Yes, already up to 9 points, Kate Oliver. And when you look at those scores there, it's 16 points for Leicester, and it's 9 to Kate Oliver and 7 to Holly Winterburn. So we know where the threat's coming from.
Yeah, I probably consider what I just said then about Kate Oliver taking on the dribble. Kate's more likely, actually, when I think about it, to pass the ball off and then flare out to the wing and see whether Coop stays in to help out or not.
Well, Christina Gaskin's already got 5 rebounds as well for the Eagles.
I didn't realise until the second half of the game against the Wildcats just what a good player she is.
Certainly earned a spot in the starting 5 this week.
I haven't seen much of Anna Lappenkoper either, but I think she's obviously out there to guard, specifically to guard Maddie McVicker.
Yeah. German who's come in. This is her first season as a professional. Coop, Chukwueto, Goro, McVicker, nice step. Comes inside, knocks down the 2.
She's got such a nice stroke off a side step dribble.
Looks very, very smooth indeed. Holly Winterburn. Lappin Cooper. Such an advantage to have somebody like Holly Winterburn, that height, who can play the guard. And there's Kate Oliver. That one's off. Chukwueto gets up for the rebound, and Maddie McVicker's off to the races. Gives it to Molly Taylor. And then Molly Taylor steps out of bounds. Good defence by Kate Oliver.
Well, it was good defence, but I think from an offensive point of view, I think Molly made that decision before she'd even caught the ball, and there was absolutely nowhere to go.
Molly.
And at this point in time, I think the Eagles need to get Ali Gorrell a bit more in the game.
Molly Taylor takes a seat, and we've got Millie Oates who comes on for the Eagles. Interesting. I think, I'm not sure, I might be wrong, but this might be Millie's first minutes of the season.
I don't remember her coming on last week.
She definitely didn't play last week. She may have had a few minutes against Nottingham. And that's going to be, it's going to be a foul on Maddie McVicker, but it's actually a 3-second call on Holly Winterburn. And there's an example of what Holly Winterburn's all about. First 1 minute she's playing point guard, the next minute she's playing centre.
Yeah.
Very much interchangeable side, this Leicester side. Yes, Maddie McVicker.
Yeah, nice move by Maddie to get open there. Against the player who was trying to deny her the ball and make it go somewhere else.
Also a nice pass from Alison Gorrell. Superb pass by Alison Gorrell, but Maddie McVicker's cut to the basket superb as well. And a left-handed layup, and fouled as she made the layup, and she'll go for the and one.
You know, similarities there to Ramon Fletcher, Jeff, in the sense that she goes to the basket. She's only 5'4", but she's really comfortable, even if there's a big player around the basket. Well under control when she lays the ball off the glass.
Leicester make a couple of substitutions. Henrik's daughter back in, and Whitney Allen coming on. It's Kate Oliver and Holly Winterburn who take the seat. So Eagles back to within 6, 16-10. Here's Lappin Cooper. The shot goes up, that's off. Maddie McVicker takes the rebound again. Position is quite uncanny at times. McVicker to Chuck Ueto. Here's Gorrell into Lisa Coop. Lisa Coop decides to take the long two-pointer. Doesn't make it, but Chuck Ueto, exactly what you said, Dave. Hustle.
Yeah, works really hard without the ball.
Got that offensive rebound.
Gone to the weak side, stretched the defence out.
McVicker for 3 from the side, and Eagles back to within 3 at 16-3 with just over 2 minutes left in the first quarter. Here's Allen to Clark. Guarded by Gorrell. Long pass out to Hannah Robb, who drives inside, and a layup just doesn't quite make it. Lisa Coop takes the rebound. Maddie McVicker looks to set it up again. Looking for Gorrell in the corner perhaps. Gives it to Gorrell now, who's come up to the top of the key. Gorrell going to drive hard to the basket and gets fouled as she does. Drive to the basket by Henrik's daughter, and it's something I noticed, Dave, before when Henrik's daughter was on, that she very much seemed to be the one that was going to take Alison Gorrell. Mm-hmm. Which is no surprise when you consider the two, between the two of them. Lisa Coop having a seat, is it?
Well, it's a good time to have Ali at the line, because this could close it to within 1 point after a pretty dominant start by the Riders.
Ali makes the first.
At least, unlike you, I don't put the kiss of death on these free throw line shooters.
Yep, you're right, Dave. 2 of 2 from Ali Goller. That takes the Eagles back to within 1. And Lisa Coop's had to take a seat here, and Georgia Smith makes her first bow as an Eagle, which is interesting because with Lisa going off, you would have thought Manti Kvidovic would have been the one to come on, but she hasn't, so that indicates to me that she really must be struggling with an injury. Georgia Smith, though, takes that rebound, and the Eagles off and running. Almost looks like the midget Eagles out there, David. They haven't got a lot of height in there, have they? But Ali Gorrell, doesn't matter, she takes that rebound, takes that shot, puts it in for 2. Determined play by Ali Gorrell. And Jesper Sundgren thinks, well, where have the Eagles come from? Because suddenly the Eagles are up by 1 at 17-16. Determined play from the Eagles. .12-0 runs since the timeout, Dave. Excellent play from the Eagles.
Great start from the Riders, but 11 out of 10 from the Eagles, the way they've clawed their way back into this game. And the Riders are still trying to take a lot out of this high-low stuff from the creating from the horns, and it's just not working for them at the moment because the Eagles are playing some pretty good interior defence, even though they're small.
Maddie McVicker up to 9 points. Alison Gorrell with 4. See the Eagles coming back with a 12-0 run after a good timeout from Chris Bunton. And you know, as a coach, as an ex-coach yourself, Dave, that's exactly what you want. That's how your team's got to respond to a timeout. You take a timeout, you want your team to respond, and they certainly have.
Yeah, obviously we now need to see what Georgia Smith can contribute because, as you say, Manti Kverdovic hasn't gone on, and what's also bothering me is that Rachel Bland's sitting in the crowd there and didn't move from her seat during that timeout.
Could be a vision thing or could be possible concussion. We don't know, but we'll just there's good defence by the Eagles. Just pushed Leicester to just got the ball over in time. Here's Lapin Cooper. He tries to force a long pass, and Alison Gorrell gets her hands up. Chukwuitu back to Gorrell, back to Chukwuitu, but she goes up for the layup and she's fouled by Hannah Robb, and she'll go to the line to shoot 2. Great fast break basketball from the Eagles.
Yeah, you love the situation where a team can break like that and create a 2-on-1 situation. Ali could maybe have taken it to the basket, but she made the decision that the handoff was better, and they had to foul Ori to stop her scoring.
Makes the first. 42.9 left in the first quarter. Makes them both. Eagles up by 3 now, 19-16. Be really pleased with this, Chris Bunton, the way they've responded. It's 14 unanswered points at the moment, and they're playing some really tough defence. Half a press, really, isn't it, Dave?
Yep.
Here's Lapin Cooper. Allen setting the screen. Lapin Cooper to Hinrich's daughter. That's going to be off. But Hannah Robb takes a good offensive rebound, but charged with a travel.
Yeah, good call.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I thought it was. Well, Hannah Robb didn't, but then the player who travels usually doesn't.
Well, no, I think the travel happened because she was going to try to put the shot up and changed her mind at the last minute and handed the ball off and just walked into the pass. So
shot clock off. Eagles with the ball. Looking to set something up to make sure they run the clock down and get a decent shot. And hopefully increase it. Alison Gorrell faced by Hannah Robb. Nice spin move by Alison. Out to Georgia Smith for 3. Georgia Smith nails the 3 on the buzzer, and the Eagles lead 22-16, and that's a 17-0 run to end the quarter. Fantastic effort by the Eagles.
What was Chris Bunton's big press release? Georgia on my mind.
Yes.
Certainly repaid him back there. Big shot to take.
But again,
all net.
But again, you have to look at it and you think to yourself as well. A lot of people have watched Alison Gorrell in this league, and they probably thought there's twice there where they probably would have expected her to drive to the basket, and she didn't. She's dropped off 2 really good passes, and it's given the Eagles 5 points from other players, and that's really excellent play from Alison Gorrell as well. Mm-hmm. So Leicester with some questions being asked of them at the moment. And
well, on that point, Jeff, I think Jesper's got the more difficult of this quarter break in the sense that he hasn't changed his tactics when Kate Oliver came off. It's not working for them anymore, the way they're trying to pound that ball to people cutting under the basket, because the Eagles are packing it in there, and the Eagles have found a way to move the ball around, spread them out, and also that getting at them very early in transition.
So just having a quick look at the scores and scorers. As I said before, Maddie McVicker has 9 points. Alison Gorrell 4 points, but she's also got 4 assists. And for Leicester, again, Kate Oliver had 9 and Holly Winterburn 7, and that's where we were a couple of minutes ago when Eagles took that time out.
Well, the scoring pretty much dried up, didn't it, when Kate went off?
So just have a
I mean, Eddie Clark's been on probably the whole of the quarter, and yes, she's doing all the right things, but at the moment she's absolutely not a scoring threat at all.
So no return at the moment for Kate Oliver. Hannah Robb out there with Holly Winterburn, Ella Clark, Whitney Allen and Sarah Henrik's daughter. Eagles, it's Ori Chukwuetu, Maddie McVicker, Millie Oates, Lisa Cooper's back out, and Georgia Smith. So Alison Gorrell getting a little bit of a rest at the moment. Winterburn, Robb thought about the 3, then turns the corner, tries to drive in, throws it back out. Extra pass made by Henrik's daughter. Holly Winterburn can't nail the 3, but Hannah Robb takes a good rebound. Ella Clark to Whitney Allen. Henrik's daughter, that's a nice bit of play, yeah. Took the fake for the 3-pointer, then drove inside for the basket. Jesper Sundgren will be really happy to see his team back on the ball.
Well, he will, but I think Chris Bunton won't be happy to see that. I mean, that was way in the corner when she made that fake, and not one weak side player went in to cut her off.
Georgia Smith, McVicker. Shot clock down to 4, and the shot went up from McVicker, and Chukwuitu took a really good offensive rebound. He has Millie Oates for 2, but that's way off. And Holly Winterburn takes the rebound and pushes the ball forward for Leicester. In the corner, Hannah Robb knocks down the 3. GB's Hannah Robb.
Yeah, well, I talked about the amount of ball handling she did in that Poland game and realised she was also a real threat from the 3-point line.
4 years at Caledonia Pride for the Scottish and GB International. There's Georgia Smith. Georgia Smith looking for her second 3 of the game. Hits the front of the rim. There's Chukwuitu yet again in for another rebound. And that foot on the line, so that'll be Eagles ball. Alison Gorrell comes back. Nice little cameo that, I think, from Ori Chukwuitu.
Well, it's okay for the Eagles at the moment. They've obviously they've recovered a little bit of their composure and attacking potential in this quarter, but as this game goes on, I'd like to think that that Rachel Bland is going to be able to play a part in this, and I don't know what's going to happen to Kaverde Shoot. Both just sitting there, haven't moved at all during this game.
There was a foul called on Whitney Allen, fouling Lisa Coop. Georgia Smith gets the ball in, Alison Gorrell. Gorrell double teamed, gives it back out to Lisa Coop. You know Lisa's not going to shoot a 3. Ali Gorrell inside, finds Lisa Coop. Was thrown up a little bit too hard. And Holly Winterburn comes away with it to Rob. Rob tries to turn the corner, good defence by McVicker. He has Henrik Stoughton in the corner for 3, knocks it down, and now it's Leicester back in front, 24-22.
Yeah, I mean, that 17-0 run Jeff had us thinking about that 14-point deficit needed to overturn it and send the Eagles through.
And now it's Leicester who've produced their run. Millie Oates, Alison Gorrell. 2-point drop, hometown roll. Yeah. Eagles back up by a point. This is as competitive and as close as we thought it possibly was going to be. Could be about depth of bench and things. Whitney Allen tries to charge through. Good defence by Eagles. Hannah Robb for 3, that one's off. Maddie McVicker will pick the loose ball up. Behind the back, away she comes. Into Alison Gorrell. She finds Lisa Coop. Lisa going hard at the basket. Doesn't manage to get the floater in. Looks at the referee, thinks she was fouled. But meanwhile, the other end, oh wow. Well, we're not here to criticise referees, but I thought that Maddie McVicker did a really good job there.
Well, having made that point, I'm happy to say nothing. Because if I was to say something, I would totally support you.
So, yep, foul call on Maddie McVicker. Hands in the cookie jar, as Mr. McCauley from London would say. Millie Oates goes off. And Molly Taylor back on. Eagles just that 1 point in front with 6:50 to go in the half. Henrik Stoughton into Kate Oliver. She nice bounce past to Holly Winterburn. Just another foul on Maddie McVicker, and that might well get her a seat. That's a second very quick foul. Just looking at the bench, Button decides nope, it's only 2. 6:47 to go. It's a long time to play on 2 fouls. Kate Oliver, and that's another foul on the Eagles. This time Lisa Coop, hands in the back of Kate Oliver.
Well, less than 4 minutes into the game and the Eagles are already on 3 fouls, team fouls in this quarter.
Ella Clark's shot is short. Is Maddie McVicker trying to go coast to coast. She was blocked, but she manages to recover the loose ball. Gives it to Georgia Smith, who gives it to Gorrell. Gorrell tries to find Molly Taylor inside, but good work by Henrik Stoughton to take that steal. And Holly Winterburn's away at the other end, and she does go coast to coast and makes a nice left-handed loop. And Chris Button thinks, I'm just going to have a little bit of a chat about this.
Yeah, she's having a good spell. I'm just thinking of the tactics here that the Eagles are applying. They seem to be quite keen at the moment to try and get that ball in and around the key, but actually they want to do it by opening up the defence first. It's all dribble. Move the ball around like they were doing before. Let's create some cutters in there.
Interesting to see which way the Eagles go, because obviously with Rachel Bland, and we're just looking down there at the bench, and Rachel is sort of still standing a little bit further back than everybody else. Manti Kaveda is actually in the huddle, but doesn't look at the moment as if she's in any condition to play. So it could be about the benches, and we know that we've seen all 10 Leicester players. Well, I think I've seen 10. We've seen 8 Leicester players so far, so they've been rotating a little bit more.
They've certainly probably got more threats at the moment in terms of putting points on the scoreboard than the Eagles are showing.
If you look down there, right at the moment, it's virtually every player that's out there is a scoring threat, isn't it? Number 1, Robin Ainge comes on for the first time. Loughborough student. Had 20 points for Loughborough in a win yesterday. Double teamed on Maddie McVicker, but Molly Taylor finds Georgia Smith. Georgia Smith looks quite comfortable handling the ball as well. Molly Taylor, Lisa Coop. Coop back to Smith. Interesting point about Smith I'm going to tell you about in a minute, but Lisa Coop, strong play. Just knocked Kate Oliver out the road and laid it in for 2 points.
Yeah.
Eagles
didn't only just use the height, nice footwork as well.
Eagles back up by 1 at 27-26. Here's Hinrich's daughter. Turns the corner. Back out to Holly Winterburn. Holly Winterburn, long 3. Doesn't make it. Lisa Coop picks up another rebound. Alison Gorrell's away. Molly Taylor for the layup. And in it goes. And Eagles back up by 3. And again, they've responded to the timeout. Taking a 3-point lead with a 4-point run. Here's Winterburn. Into Ella Clark. She backs up Molly Taylor. Nice spin move. Doesn't make it. Alison Gorrell comes away with the rebound and the ball. Nice little step inside into Lisa Coop, and Lisa Coop lays it up for 2. And yes, but Sundgren takes a timeout. All about runs and timeouts at the moment, Dave.
Well, runs. I mean, you just talked previously about the Eagles trying to force the ball inside, but the last 2 were all about transition in 2 very different ways. The first 2 in transition the first 2 passes were so quick and executed so well that it was a wide open layup. But that one there, the guard drove straight at the heart of the defence, and a nice little soft bound pass to Coop cutting in from the wing.
Put the Eagles up by 5 points at 31-26, and very, very good game this at the moment. Really open. It could go either way. The point I was going to make, it's not really. It's a little bit of an interest. Georgia Smith. So Georgia Smith's come into the Eagles organisation, and she's taken on the number 10 shirt. Now, what does the number 10 shirt normally mean in the Eagles? Charles Smith.
Oh.
So, quite a big shirt to live up to, even if it is a different gender. That one courtesy of Gary Foster, who mentioned that to me. Said that he put a tweet out this morning saying, "Good luck, Georgia, and I hope you live up to the shirt."
Georgia Smith probably never heard of Charles Smith. Charles, as you know at the moment, is playing with Team Newcastle in Division 1.
Yeah, I was just going to say, he's back in the Newcastle shirt. The Team Newcastle in Division 1 with your son, Mark Eldigan, coaching.
Yeah.
Nice 2-point bucket there for Leicester. Yes, McVicker at the other end. That's going to be a foul by Robin Ainge. Just wondering if Robin's been brought on just to possibly try and disrupt Maddie McVicker a little bit. Georgia Smith comes out. Ori Chuku Etu comes back in. I think we can see that, Mandy Kaveda and Rachel Bland at the moment certainly. Oh, that was a nice idea from Molly Taylor, but
it
poor
is, but
execution.
if you're going to play high-low like that, you want to be playing that sort of pass into Lisa Coop, not one of your smaller guards.
So we're going to have a swing back to Leicester after their timeout. 4:42 to go. Eagles lead 31-28. Henry Stoker is Holly Winterburn. Tough battle inside between Clark and Taylor. There's Oliver going strong against Lisa Coop and manages to get it up and in for 2 points. Scoring threats all over for Leicester, but at the moment it's Kate Oliver and Holly Winterburn who are doing most of the damage. Alison Gorrell into Lisa Coop. She comes back out to Ori Chukwu Itu. She's back. Oh, nice pass. Nice pass from Ori to Lisa Coop, and she lays it in for 2.
Yeah, 2 super rolls to the basket by Lisa Coop in this quarter so far. Let's have more of them.
There's Ella Clark inside out. Henrik Stoker in the corner. Drives the baseline. Good defense by the Eagles. Here's Ella Clark back out. Holly Winterburn will put the 3 up. That one's off. McVicker gets a hand to it, knocks it into the hands of Alison Gorrell. She brings the ball over halfway. Chukwu Etu gives it back to Gorrell. Gorrell using Lisa Coop as a screen. Lisa Coop decides, nice little spin move, but it's short again. It's the one probably get part of a game where she just struggled a little bit. Nice. But good defence at the other end.
Yeah, excellent defence from Lisa Coop.
Yes, Maddie McVicker, and she's fouled as she goes to the hoop by Holly Winterburn. Not often you're going to call a foul before it actually happens, but I nearly did there because it seems she's really good at protecting the ball as well. Is Maddie McVicker, and went up and fouled there in the act of shooting, and she's already on the line waiting for the 2 shots. So Christina Gaskin and Anna Lappin Cooper back in. Holly Winterburn comes out. Looks a bit perturbed as she talks to her coach, and Ella Clark comes off. If anything, and it's not my place to say it, to criticise, but I just think possibly Holly Winterburn has tried to force it a little bit too much for herself.
Obviously, that's between her and the coach. I mean, I don't know whether she was asking him if he was unhappy or he's making a point to her, and I can't tell from here.
Just looking down, she's not sitting initiative, she's standing drinking, and look, if looks could kill her.
Yeah. The one thing for certain, Jeff, in these games where there's no crowd, but there's 1 or 2 people in there, you always know when the referees are making a bad call.
Yeah. So Maddie McVicker knocked both of them down. Eagles lead by 5. There's a hard drive from Lappin Cooper, but she doesn't make the layup. Gorrell at the other end, she finds McVicker, who goes for the reverse layup, but doesn't make it. Kate Oliver comes away with the ball. Eagles manage to recycle it, and that's going to be a foul. Foul given on Lappin Cooper on the arm.
It's not been blindingly obvious at the first, but in this last phase of play, the Eagles at the moment are getting a lot out of pushing the ball at them in transition.
Maddie McVicker takes a well-earned rest, and Robin Ainge comes out after having spelled Holly Winterburn for a little bit there. Holly Winterburn back on. Molly Taylor with the ball. Nearly a steal from Winterburn. Taylor gets the ball into Coop. Coop again, almost a steal, but Gorrell's got it now. And it's an offensive foul call on Lisa Coop.
Yeah, Eagles completely lost the way in that offense that Earl, the fumbling of the ball. They just completely lost spacing. Prior to that, they'd been spreading the floor pretty well.
I have to say, though, if you look at this one way, 2:46 to go, the Eagles up by 5 without 2 big players as well. So referee and Eagles coach having a chat. Meanwhile, it's Lappin Cooper who brings the ball over the halfway, pushes it in Oliver. Oliver straight away shoots the 3. Great rebound by Gaskin. Henrik Stoker with the loose ball. Gaskin really good, impressive rebounder. With 3 offensive rebounds already. Lappin Cooper turns the corner. And here's Holly Winterburn for 3 again. And it's out and in. And Molly Taylor. And that's going to be judged a jump ball. Molly Taylor took a good rebound, but Henrik Stoker managed to clasp it in. But it's the Eagles, arrows in the Eagles' favour. Molly Taylor inbounds to Ali Gorrell. Little skip step. Gorrell, I thought Gorrell was going to drive all the way to the basket because Henrik's daughter looked as if she just took her eye off it a little bit. Gorrell to Lisa Coop from the free throw line, but she can't make it.
That's a part of the game she's certainly got to work on, because people are going to leave her wide open at that sort of 9. Whoops.
Yeah, that's a foul. Henrik's daughter saw a gap, went for it, and Lisa Coop decided to close it very quickly. Maddie McVicker didn't get much of a rest, and it's Lisa Coop that comes out. It's a third foul for Lisa Coop, and you mentioned to me last week about that's another part of her game where she does tend to get in a little bit of a foul trouble.
Yeah.
And that's 3 fouls as well, so I would imagine that's her for the half.
Yeah, and they're in the penalty as well. I saw the Riders.
Yeah, both teams in the penalty, and, so Henrik's daughter will go at the line to shoot 2. Chance to close the gap. Seems to be a while since we've had a score. It'll be a little bit longer. She misses the first. Looking to make the second. Makes the second. 35-31 in favour of the home side. 1:52 to go in the half, and it's Alison Gorrell who's bringing the ball up, and she's going to drive all the way to the basket and try. I don't know if she tried a layup or a pass, but it was intercepted by Kate Oliver, who gave it to Henrik's daughter. Gives it to Lapin Cooper, well guarded by Chukwuetu. Henrik's daughter into Kate Oliver, who was fouled by Alison Gorrell and falls awkwardly, but she's back on her feet.
Yes, see, Kate Oliver's changed the game completely. She's no longer spotting up on the 3, so without Coop on the floor, she's really making her presence felt in and around the basket area.
Christina Gaskin comes off and Hannah Robb comes on. Kate Oliver from the line. The lefty makes the first. And makes the second as well. Well into double figures now. Kate Oliver up to 13 points. It's cut the gap to a 2-point game. Chukwuetu trying very hard to spin Kate Oliver, but she got hands on the ball and ripped it free. And Hannah Robb goes hard at the other end and lays it in for 2. And we're tied at 35 with 1:06 to go in the quarter and the half.
Tough move there from Hannah, because she was out of control, falling over, and she still managed to kiss it in under control.
It's Alison Gorrell going up for 2, and that's going to be a foul by Henrik's daughter. I love the way that even the ladies don't like these calls and are quite happy to dispute them. Georgia Smith coming on. Chukwuetu comes off. As Georgia Smith comes on, so does Ella Clark, and Henrik's daughter, I think that was her second foul, so Sundgren decides to replace her with Ella Clark.
Well, 1 to go in this half, Jeff, and it's just exactly what you said. It is a really good competitive game, and it's good that there's another 20 minutes of this to follow.
Yeah, I have to say I'm really enjoying the standard of these games and the competitiveness between both sides and will to win on both sides. Alison Gorrell knocks down 2 free throws, pushes that Eagles lead back up to 2. And as Dave said, we're inside the last minute of the half. Holly Winterburn to Hannah Robb. What a great pass. And that was a really nice offense. Deserved the points, I thought.
Yeah.
The pass into Kate Oliver. She had 4 players around her and she still took it and threw it out to Ella Clark, but her shot was off, and it was Maddie McVicker. Whoa! Maddie McVicker who took the rebound, and at the other end, Gorrell gets fed on the 3-point line, and in it goes, and that again, Eagles up by 5 points at 40-35, and we're inside the last 20 seconds. Nice lob pass by Clark into Winterburn. Winterburn lays it up for 2. Eagles with 13 seconds, probably the last shot of the half. They lead 40-37. Gorrell steps back, puts the 3 up, but it's an air ball. And Leicester have got 3.3 seconds. They can get something off. Kate Oliver trots shot all the way down. Holly Winterburn, who's going to drive, gives it to Kate Oliver. Kate Oliver lays it in for 2. And really, I think the Eagles probably went to sleep a little bit there.
Absolutely went to sleep.
And suddenly a 5-point lead is just down to a 1-point lead as we reach the buzzer, and that lane there brings Leicester back to within one. But a great half of ladies basketball once again, Dave.
Yeah, and it was interesting to see how the Riders changed the style there when Coop went to the bench. Everything was about trying to get the ball into Oliver. And in fairness to Oliver, if she felt she didn't have an easy look at a two-pointer, she'd kick the ball out and they had a nice little inside-outside game going. The Eagles, what I like about them playing, they look best when they're pushing the ball at them quickly in transition. I love those two quick passes they've got, and if they can't do that, then they're doing it with the dribble penetration and a kick out. Really good game.
Yeah, just noticed that Coach Bunton having a nice long chat with the referees, clearly not happy about something. But to be fair, the game's been called pretty evenly, I think, and what we've seen here is two really good sides, two quality sides, which is what you mentioned at the beginning of the show. These are going to be two of the sides that's in for honours this year. So we'll just take a break and get some stats together for you and return in about 10 minutes or so time. Welcome back to the Eagles Community Arena for the second half. Just a quick look at some of the stats from the first half. Eagles leading 40-39. Their top scorer is Alison Gorrell with 12. She also has 4 rebounds and 5 assists. Maddie McVicker has 11 points and 5 rebounds, and Lisa Coop has 8 points and 3 rebounds. For Leicester, Kate Oliver has 15. Holly Winterburn has 11 and 5 rebounds, and Sarah Henriksdottir has 6 points, and Christina Gaskin has 6 rebounds. Eagles 21 rebounds to Leicester's 20. Shooting percentages overall, Eagles 43 to Leicester's 39. From 2-point range, it's Eagles at 42% and Leicester at 47%. From 3-point range, it's Eagles at 44% and Leicester at 31%. Nothing in the assists to turnovers. Eagles have got 10 assists, 10 turnovers. Leicester have got 10 assists and 8 turnovers. Dave?
Yeah, well, as you say, a highly competitive game. Styles changing throughout that half. I thought that the Riders started out with Kate Oliver wanting to rule from outside, and then any time Coop went to the bench, she was spotting up inside, and her teammates were moving her all around until they had an opportunity to kick it into her. I thought some good inside-outside stuff followed from that, and I think the Eagles' strength that they showed to concentrate on is getting at the Leicester defence early before it gets set.
Yeah, and I think we talked about it over in the half-time break as well, is that that 40-39 scoreline. Probably the Eagles just lost a little bit of composure in that last minute or so of the second quarter, and because they were up by 5 and had that opportunity possibly to even stretch that to 7. But Leicester did well to come back, and it'll be Leicester who get us underway with a chance to regain the lead from the start, and it'll be Henriksdottir who gets the second half underway, gives the ball into Anna Lappin-Cooper, and we're off and running. It's Lappin-Cooper and these are Kate Oliver, Holly Winterburn, so Henriksdottir from the 3-point line. That's just short, and a combination of Gorrell and McVicker come up with a rebound. McVicker so quick with the ball, but seems to always have it under control as well. Out to Alison Gorrell, thought about the 3. Georgia Smith catch and shoot from 3-point range. Great box out by Kate Oliver, and she takes the rebound comfortably, gives it to Winterburn. Winterburn at the other end, using Kate Oliver as a screen. Henriksdottir again in the corner, doesn't shoot it. McVicker gets her hands in, steals that one, and Alison Gorrell helps her tidy it up, and McVicker goes all the way to the basket, lays it in for 2. Tough move by Maddie McVicker, and the Eagles up by 3, 42-39, and Maddie McVicker up to 13 points personal. Well,
we talked about the importance of the Eagles getting at them in transition. They had a 3v1 situation there. Excellent job.
Henriksdottir turns the corner. Here's Christina Gaskin for her 3-point shot, and her first points of the game. As I said, she's got 6 rebounds, but it's her first points of the game. Nice shot.
That caught the Eagles defence absolutely flat. Not one Eagles player rotated with the movement of that ball.
Molly Taylor drives in hard, goes for the layup, left-handed layup, and lovely play by Molly Taylor. She drove hard.
She couldn't have made the degree of difficulty more difficult there.
Yeah,
what a way to finish a tough shot.
Henriksdottir for 3, that one's off. And
well, I'm not saying that she needs to stop taking them, but because she is wide open, she has good looks, but the coach is having a word with her, and I think he's saying to her, they're just not dropping for you today, go and do something else, get yourself in the game a different way.
Yeah, coach actually the 6th player on court there, as he was talking to...
Tee him up.
Yeah, to Henriksdottir, and there's Lisa Coop to Georgia Smith. Georgia Smith, nice little step inside, but good defence by Henrik's daughter into Lisa Coop. She's going to have to go at Kate Oliver, I think, here with only 4 seconds on the clock. She does go at Kate Oliver. Nice left-handed layup in for 2.
Yeah, she is. She's quite comfortable on that. I guess she's a right-handed player, but she's quite comfortable spinning with her left shoulder first. She leads much better from that side with her head, eyes on the target, than does she when she's posting up the other way.
Leicester back on offence. Winterburn drives hard to the basket, and her layup is in for 2.
She's got 2 completely dominating steps when she goes to the basket like that. She really plants the feet hard, makes it difficult for the defenders to stop her.
Oh, Maddie McVicker's pass was going astray, and Henrik's daughter actually knocked it back into the path of Lisa Coop. Ball out, Alison Gorrell round the screen, back out to Molly Taylor for 3. Oh, shaves the basket and away it goes, and Maddie McVicker tries to get after it but can't make it. Eagles up by 2, 46-44, 7:12 to go in the third quarter.
Good decision there by Ali to kick that ball out. She made a nice penetrating drive, but she realised the route to basket was cut off. Lovely kick out. Molly just didn't quite knock down the shot.
Yes, Henrik's daughter turns the corner, driving inside. Maybe that's one of the things that the coach said to her.
Yeah, she's good on the drive. I mean, I have seen her be comfortable from the 3-point line, but she's also pretty good penetrating inside. Again, she's a lot like Gaskin. She's got good footwork to finish the move off.
Henrik's daughter for 2 from the inbound from Lappin Cooper, and again Eagles defensively just went to sleep a little bit there.
They go to sleep. They didn't even get in position to defend the out of bounds pass.
Ali Gorrell gives it to Georgia Smith for 2. Georgia Smith knocks down the 2. Nice little 2-point shot, and the Eagles back up in front by 2 points, 48-46.
I love it when they make that move, Jeff. A lovely little floater, much easier than trying to charge in and score over the big guys.
Winterburn into Gaskin, back out to Lappin Cooper. Lappin Cooper to 2. That was nice play from Christina Gaskin to recognise Lappin Cooper was open at the free throw line. Here's Maddie McVicker at the other end. She lost the handle that time.
Yeah, she lost the way completely there. I think she was expecting Georgia Smith to drift to the corner, which is what she should have done on that play. Move with your dribbler.
Holly Winterburn again driving through that 1-2 step.
Well, one thing for certain, Eagles defence-wise, I'm sure Chris Button's going to point this out to them. When Holly Winterburn is on the wing, the weak side defence has got to come in, because she's going to got one thought on mind when she gets the first step off.
That was Georgia Smith's 3rd foul. Joins Lisa Coop on 3 fouls. Chris Bunton very close to a technical foul, yeah.
I'm not sure what he has to complain about. It's been a pretty good officiated game. Not too many cries from behind us about fouls. We normally get loads of them, but
those 2 points from the line from Holly Winterburn takes Leicester back up with a 2-point lead, and this time McVicker fails to find Gorrell. It's Winterburn again trying to take this game over.
If I was in Chris Bunton's shoes right now, I'd be calling one of my timeouts.
Yeah, and that's exactly what he's done, Dave.
They're losing the way a little bit. They've
It was a 3rd quarter blast last week against the Mystics from Chris Bunton on the timeout that seemed to turn the game around, and that's what he needs here, because Leicester just looking a bit ominous here. Opened out to a 5-point lead at 53-48.
Yeah, Leicester have come out with really good space, and I'm guessing one of the reasons for that is they're pretty confident about Holly Winterburn's ability to get to the basket and create either something for herself or a kick out for a teammate. And unfortunately, the Eagles just got a little bit tight. Like, the first play of this half was a pick and roll between the guard and Coop, and there was just no spacing anywhere else for them to operate it.
So just looking at the scores, Holly Winterburn now up to 15 points. She has 6 assists and 4 rebounds, leading the efficiency scoring at 21 as well. Kate Oliver still with those 15 points from the first half. Eagles now have 3 players in double figures, which is Maddie McVicker on 13, Lisa Coop on 10, Alison Gorrell 12. So Eagles come out after the timeout. Georgia Smith, Alison Gorrell, Lisa Coop, Molly Taylor and Maddie McVicker will face up against Anna Lappin Cooper, Holly Winterburn, Sarah Hendricksdottir, Ella Clark and Christina Gaskin.
Well, that's interesting. Coach Sundgren takes his big out, Kate Oliver out at the same time as Coop comes in.
Georgia Smith for 3 from the top of the key, and in it goes.
She's pretty composed in setting herself for that outside shot.
When he signed, Chris Brunton did mention about an outside shooting being a big factor for signing. There's Lappin Cooper, the guards inside, and that's going to be a foul by Molly Taylor. She knew as soon as Lappin Cooper turned that was going to be a foul. So Lappin Cooper will go to the line for 2. Molly Taylor comes out.
Well, that last substitution, Jeff, gives me a chance to apologise because unfortunately I've been calling Miss Clark Ellie instead of Ella. I should know better.
Lappin Cooper's first one just drops off to the side, doesn't go down. Leicester lead 53-51, 5:25 to go. And misses them both, but a great rebound by Hendricksdottir. Got in there very, very quickly and took the rebound and laid it in for 2. And Leicester up by 4, 55-51. Chukwuetu Etu going hard. Finds Lisa Coop. Lisa Coop does well. But the layup doesn't go in. She thought she was fouled.
She may have had a case, but you know, you need it. Once you've made that move and you get your head and shoulders past, you need to finish strong.
Hendricksdottir at the other end can't make her layup, and it's Maddie McVicker who takes the rebound. Just as Dave has mentioned, there was no calls for fouls from behind us for our production team. The sort of ironical cheers there as Maddie McVicker was fouled. Maddie McVicker probably was a little bit disappointed because I think she was in the clear.
I think it's confidence in the refereeing crew from our production team. She's certainly putting a lot of pressure on early. Matt Vicker takes route 1 really well.
Alison Gorrell did well to find Lisa Coop inside, but Lisa Coop couldn't take that. Hendricksdottir, Maddie McVicker makes a stand, no call. Lappin Cooper can't make the 2. And Lisa Coop comes up with the rebound, and Alison Gorrell's off to the races. She finds Georgia Smith. Back to Gorrell. Gorrell's going to drive inside. That's going to be a foul on the floor. It's on Hendricksdottir. That'll be her 3rd foul.
Georgia Smith's got some simple little moves she does very effectively. The way she created space for herself on that simple little dribble to make that easy pass.
Substitution. Lappin Cooper comes out for Leicester and Hannah Robb goes in. Quite nice to be able to replace your starting guard with a GB guard.
Yeah, especially as Hannah Robb's shown an outside threat today, as well as the ability to set the plays up and get to the basket.
I think I'm quite pleased I've got earphones on here, Dave, because there's obviously something going on between the referees and Chris Bunton. Maddie McVicker to Gorrell. Georgia Smith for 3. That one's well short.
Well, I can only think she was either wider open than she thought she was, or she thought the clock was running down.
Chukwuetu Etu did a really good job at saving it and got it back to Maddie McVicker. But she couldn't make the layup, and at the other end, Hannah Robb's 3-point shot is well short. Alison Gorrell for 2. That one's off as well.
Well, I don't blame Hannah Robb for taking that last shot because the Eagles didn't close it down at all, but there was absolutely no rhythm in that shot at all.
Yes, Christina Gaskin back to Holly Winterburn. Good defense from the Eagles there, very, very good defense. Only 2 seconds left on the shot clock. Lisa Coop comes out and Millie Oates goes back in.
Well, there's one thing for certain, Hannah Robb's not going to win any foot race with Ori Chukwuetu.
Oh, wow. Right on the buzzer. Holly Winterburn nails the 3. Fantastic shot from the wing. But again, Eagles possibly could have closed it down a little bit, especially with only 2 seconds left on the clock. But that 3 points gives Leicester their biggest lead of the night, 7 points. Eagles needing to respond. Gorrell it is that drives in hard, but her shot is blocked by Gaskin. Leicester come up with the loose ball. Winterburn to Henriksdottir in the corner for 3. And she's missed another one, but a great rebound taken by Gaskin again. Out to Winterburn. Hannah Robb going for 3. That one's off, and Gorrell takes the rebound.
Oh, there's so many things to talk about there, Jeff, but you're talking about great for Leicester. What great spacing, as well as all the other good things you're saying. But one thing right now is not great is the way the Eagles are chasing down and challenging shots. They're watching the ball move, and then they're moving after the ball has landed with the player.
Sarah Hings, Henriksdottir takes a break, and Robin Ainge back in.
There's probably no such term as air defence, but Chris Bunton needs to stress to these players they've got to move with the movement of the ball.
Holly Winterburn has the ball stripped from her as she tries to drive
3v2 should be a finish.
Alison Gorrell trying to finish. Alison Gorrell does finish, and she's fouled as she does finish, and she'll go to the line to shoot an extra one.
Well, it's 3v2, Jeff, there, but that was a great decision by Ali Gorrell because neither of the other two players had created any space at all for her to dish it off, and she was absolutely right to try and finish that play herself.
And she managed to do so and was fouled by Hannah Robb in the process, and she'll go to the line to shoot an extra one. She makes the extra one, 4 point, and Jesper Sundgren decides to have a timeout. 2:31 left to go. So 54-58. Timeout, Leicester. Interesting timeout to take when you're 4 points in front. But
you know, I was thinking of it a slightly different way. I mean, obviously, timeouts are crucial to use at certain times, and Chris Bunton was absolutely right to step in early when he saw that the game was slipping towards Leicester's way. But then there was a sort of equality in the play. But I thought Leicester were in the ascendancy there, and maybe he has something that's bothering him. But I didn't see the reason for him to call a timeout there.
Yeah, sometimes that can be. You know, you look at it and you think, is it premeditated almost? But 2:31 to go. Eagles down by 4, 58-54.
It's only a 4 point lead, but I think the Riders are asking far more questions of the Eagles and vice versa.
Again, the Eagles looking at the smaller lineup. So Robin Ainge into the game with Hannah Robb in the backcourt for Leicester. Holly Winterburn now moves into the centre with Ella Clark. Christina Gaskin as well. Robin Ainge into Ella Clark. She's guarded by Mac Vicker, who gets a hand on that and knocks it away. But Eagles once again turn the ball over. This time it was Millie Oates. A chance to get both Gorrell and Mac Vicker away. Here's Ella Clark going across the middle. In for 2, but doesn't make it. Georgia Smith takes the rebound. Eagles obviously looking to break quickly when they can, but Mac Vicker for 3. Yep, in it goes. And that brings the Eagles back to within a point. 57-58 down with 1:46 to go in the quarter. Holly Winterburn brings it forward. Seems to like to play from that point forward position. Hannah Robb wide open for 3, but she doesn't make it. Millie Oates takes a nice rebound. Alison Gorrell at the other end. And that's going to be another foul. This time, I think, on Holly Winterburn.
Yeah, a little disappointed with the Eagles' defence in that. The Riders' defence in that last play. I mean, you're one pass away from a 3-point shooter, and you don't even get in the passing lane, and then you don't even bother to go and close her down.
Whitney Allen coming on to replace Christina Gaskin. Christina Gaskin has 6 points and 8 rebounds. Inbound from Georgia Smith to Alison Gorrell. Nice little head fake, tries to turn the Leicester defender. Molly Taylor for 3. Wow, that was miles away, unfortunately.
Pity that shot didn't match the move before. Nice kick out there by Ali.
There's Whitney Allen. Then he said Whitney Houston. Whitney Allen. Robin Ainge for 3. That one's just off. Gorrell takes yet another rebound. She finds Georgia Smith on the wing. Georgia Smith looking back to Gorrell. Inside the last minute, Georgia Smith for 3, and she's made another one.
Oh, she is so composed.
Knocks that one down, gives the Eagles a 2-point lead at 60-58, 42 seconds left. So possibly offense either way. Robin Ainge hesitated, missed the 3. Hannah Robb comes up with a rebound, jump ball, and it's in the Eagles' favour. 30.5, and a substitution. Lappin Cooper and Kate Oliver come back on. Ella Clark and Holly Winterburn come out. 30.5 to go. Eagles up by 2. It's 60-58. I think there's another point which will probably make a little bit later. I'd like your comment on there, but let's just see the last 30 seconds of this quarter out first. Gorrell to Taylor. She finds McVicker. McVicker to Georgia Smith. Georgia Smith guarded by Kate Oliver. That's not a surprise after the way Georgia Smith's been knocking down the threes. Here's Gorrell. 6 seconds, 5 seconds. Gorrell off the glass for 2. And 7 seconds left to go, and 62-58 the Eagles lead. Great drive by Lappin Cooper though. Fantastic drive. And once again, right on the buzzer, Leicester do a great job of managing to score and finishing the quarter off really well. But overall, the Eagles won that quarter by a point, lead 62-60. So Dave, the point I was going to ask you about, obviously you can let your comments on the quarter as well, but Eagles are leading here by 2 points. It's only 2 points, but they've got Rachel Bland, who obviously that injury in the first quarter, she hasn't come back, and she's got a mask on now, and so it doesn't look like she's come back. And Manti Kverovic also not playing. They've done a fantastic job to be leading this Leicester side.
Absolutely. I mean, without 2 what you would call key players, I mean, Kverovic shoots so controlled when she plays and contributes so much to the game. Rachel brings so much energy in defence. She's a scoring threat as well. They're doing a really good job against a good quality team to stay in this game. Only 2 down. I mean, the 14 to win it on aggregate and go through was always going to be a tough call. But hats off to them for the way they're doing the job today.
Georgia Smith up to 11 points, 3 of 6 from 3-point range. She's the 4th Eagle into double figures. Alison Gorrell leads the Eagles with 17 points. She also has 6 rebounds and 8 assists. Maddie McVicker 16 points and 7 rebounds. Lisa Coop 10 points and 4 rebounds. For Leicester, we have Holly Winterburn on 18 points, 5 rebounds and 6 assists. Kate Oliver on 15 points. And Sarah Hingrichsdottir on 10 points and 4 rebounds. So, 10 minutes to play. Eagles up by 2. They need to win the quarter by 12 to go through to the next round. But I think, at this point in time, perhaps it'll be a case of, well, I'll take a win, and that'll be good progression. Not just Manti Kverovic should have been out and Rachel Bland out with injury. Obviously, we haven't got, Eagles haven't got Abby Lowe either, sort of thing. So, whereas Leicester are at full strength, and it's just a case of like who's going to finish off the stronger. And Leicester perhaps have got a slightly longer bench, and see whether that is what brings to the fore.
They've got enough experience as well to know how to keep this game and not let it go to a situation where the Eagles can win by 14.
So Hingrichsdottir tries to turn a corner, but good defence by Georgia Smith. Kate Oliver thinking about the 3 against Lisa Coop, who's back on, but instead she drives inside and lays it up for 2. 17 points personal now for Kate Oliver. And scores are level. Lisa Coop, she did really well to turn inside there. Didn't make the layup, but manages to cause enough confusion so that the Eagles can come up with a loose ball.
Great skip pass.
Gorrell to Georgia Smith. And that's almost automatic at the moment. Georgia Smith 4 of 7 now from 3-point range and puts the Eagles back up 65-62.
I don't know whether it was Ali's mind that she was throwing it to somebody who would catch and shoot it, but that was an absolutely terrific pass. That gave the Leicester defence no chance at all to recover on that shot.
And at the other end, Kate Oliver once again showing her deadly prowess from beyond the 3-point arc, makes her 2-point shot. Good defence from Kate Oliver there as well. This time Georgia Smith shot was a little bit hurried. I thought it was really good defence because the way Kate Oliver stood off, because she knew Lisa Coop wasn't going to shoot from that far out.
Yeah, there's a lot to be said for setting your feet square to the 3-point line when you're defending certain people. But I think with Kate Oliver, you've got to step onto that left-hand side of her a little bit more.
65 plays 65, 8:44 to go. Henrik's daughter turns the corner, but this time her pass is a little bit too strong for Hannah Robb.
I'm not saying she can't go to the right, but all I've seen Kate Oliver do in this quarter so far is fake and go to her left.
Ball in from the inbound, from the end line by Molly Taylor into the hands of Maddie McVicker. McVicker brings it up. Lisa Coops sets the screen. McVicker out to Taylor. Taylor briefly thought about the three, but then was well guarded by Lappin Cooper. She gives it into Lisa Coop. Lisa Coop drives against Kate Oliver. Well, she drove really well and missed the layup, but she created so much space she was able to get the rebound and lay it in.
She's obviously right-handed. That's the way she takes free throws. On the two shots, she's outside shots she's taking, but she's so much better at converting them around the basket with her left.
Quality game with this. It really is a really good competitive game between two good sides. Lappin Cooper got that one off Allen. It's almost right on the buzzer. And I think
not only was that a good pass in, what a great step back move by Kate Oliver.
And it was right on the 24-second buzzer as well. And I think that shows what Dave was talking about, the experience there. And Kate Oliver again allows Lisa Cooper a long 2-point shot, which she doesn't make. And Leicester just coming back open. That's going to be offensive foul on Kate Oliver on Lisa Coop. As the two of them battled inside. I'm sure they'll shake hands at the end of the game. Take it, but it's well, possibly they won't shake hands in these COVID times, but it's been a real battle between the two of them all night. And believe it or not, that's Kate Oliver's first foul of the night.
Well, that's unusual. I've watched so many games where that would have been Kate Oliver's fourth foul.
She's also up to 22 points personal as well, leads all scorers in the game. But the game is tied at 67-67 with 7.5 minutes to go. Here's Molly Taylor. Gives it to Lisa Coop. Smith, nice little move. It's only 3 seconds on the shot clock. McVicker has to put it up. Can't get it away. Leicester, good defense. 24-second violation by the Eagles. Lappin Cooper coast to coast, but she misses a jump shot from the free throw line, and Maddie McVicker takes the rebound and she goes coast to coast, feeds it to Alison Gorrell, who give it to Lisa Coop, and it was well, Lisa Coop didn't take it, but the ball dropped back in the hands of Alison Gorrell and fouled by Hannah Robb. I think we'll send Alison Gorrell to the line to shoot 2.
I love the way they're getting out of the Leicester defence, Jeff, but I still would like to see them filling all 5 lanes rather than just 3 lanes.
Alison Gorrell goes to the line for 2. Makes the first. And makes the second as well.
Let's get that 2-man and those 3 men out wide in the outside lanes. Make it more difficult for the Leicester defence, which is just running in a straight line back to defend his basket.
Alison Gorrell 7-7 from the line. And that's a travel called on Henrik's daughter.
Pity, because it was a great spin move. Convinced she travelled, but referee's probably right. Coach didn't complain, he normally does.
You know these coaches a lot better than I do, Dave, so I'll take your word for it. Molly Taylor comes off and Ori Chukwu Etu back on. It's Alison Gorrell turns round, gives it back to Lisa Coop. Back to Gorrell. Gorrell steps inside. And that's going to offensive foul called.
Bunton's going to get a tee.
Yep. Foul was called offensively on Lisa Coop, and I think that technical's been coming for a while, hasn't it, Dave?
Yeah, I mean, and not only that, he's made his point. You got your tee. Now you need to be just quiet, otherwise you're going to get another one.
It'll be Kate Oliver who goes to the line to shoot the free throw. Alison Gorrell comes across, probably just says just trying to calm the coach down.
Well, I'd have to leave that to experts in officiating. Looked to me like a pretty tough offensive move by Alison Gorrell. I'm not quite sure what she did.
Well, the foul was actually called on Lisa Coop, I think.
Right, okay.
I think she's trying to clear a path for Alison to get to the basket. But 69-68, the Eagles lead. from the technical. Leicester ball at their end line. Henrik's daughter. Elbows out. Nice pass to Lappin Cooper. Lovely drop off pass from Henrik's daughter to Lappin Cooper, and Lappin Cooper makes the 2.
Good vision by Henrik's daughter and great cut by Lappin Cooper.
Maddie McVicker goes to the basket but can't make it this time, and Kate Oliver comes away with the ball. And Hannah Robb thought about shooting the 3, just about held on to the ball. Nice movement by Holly Winterburn. In fact, good movement all round by Leicester. And there's another excellent move. And that was a really good basket from Leicester. Really set up well.
What do you think about Kate Oliver's in that, eh? Point guard, dishes to the wing. Next minute, she's cutting in from the weak side and scoring with a reverse layup.
Excellent play from Oliver, who's now up to 24 points personal. Or is it 25 actually? 25. Chukwuedo, that's a long 3, and it's too long. It was way over the basket. And that's a foul as she tries to recover her position.
If you want to know how much of a threat that the Leicester Riders think Ali Gorrell is, just watch the way Hannah Robb's playing defence on her. She's absolutely in her face.
Leicester with Winterburn. She's going to drive again. Nice dish off, no look pass. Hannah Robb for 3. And in it goes. Nice play. Alison Gorrell perhaps not as tight to her as the other way around, as Dave was just calling. Georgia Smith. Eagles just for the first time looking just a little bit dispirited, and Georgia Smith has the ball stolen off her by Hannah Robb, and that'll have to be a timeout from Chris Bunton as Leicester suddenly open up an 8-point lead at 77-69.
Yeah, and they've opened that up with extra energy. We talk about all sorts of technical things, but they played really hard in that last 2 or 3 minutes.
Just wondered whether it would be the Leicester bench, extra 1 or 2 players that they've got on the bench, and perhaps 1 or 2 of the Eagles players, with the 3 players they've got out, having to play extra minutes that they, and it's just getting to that point of the game where 5 minutes to go, where fatigue can easily set in. But the Eagles have no doubt have made a real fist of this game. Leicester just moving that little bit in front, 77-69. But the games in the league between these 2 sides are going to be really interesting games to watch.
Certainly when they get the 2 players back in fully fit.
Georgia Smith being a nice addition to the Eagles today.
Yeah, very controlled, very composed, reads the game well. Obviously got a decent shot on her as an outside threat.
She's actually got 14 points and 4 of 8.
And we've also got to accept that this is the first minute, so I'm not sure what preparation she's been able to get in. And do we know why she's had to wait this long to make a debut?
Well, she didn't actually get into the country till Tuesday.
Oh,
I think it's been a problem getting across. But she arrived on Tuesday, which was interesting because, again, speaking to Simon Rushworth, who covers the Newcastle Eagles ladies, he said that when he spoke to Georgia after she signed, he actually thought she was already in the country. So
well, of course we have. I mean, you think about the Australian situation. There's only just opening up parts of the country, as I know well from one of my sons being over there. But also you've got airlines like Qantas not flying to England at all. Yeah.
Anyway, Georgia Smith is here, and she'll be hoping to try and help the Eagles come back. Alice Gorrell inside to Lisa Coop. Hands by Lisa Coop. She's the one who's judged to have knocked that out. Yeah. Alison Gorrell thought it was Kate Oliver who knocked it out, but referee saw it the other way. If
Ali watches that play, the pass that was absolutely on there to Coop going to basket was the bounce pass rather than the floater.
And there's a great move by Kate Oliver, who's really turned up the heat in this last 10 minutes, and she's now at 27 points personal. Maddie McVicker, Ali Gorrell, Leicester with a double-digit lead for the first time in the game since that 8-0 start. Yes, Lisa Coop gets to the basket, but that's going to be a foul on Kate Oliver. Foul on Kate Oliver. She goes to shoot 2, no continuation. Only Kate's second foul. Lisa's first one short.
Having seen Kate Oliver play many times, that's an amazing stat at this stage of the game. Kate Oliver on 2 fouls.
Lisa Coop makes both of them. 4 minutes to go. Eagles down by 10. Leicester looking good at the moment. Kate Oliver very good at the moment. There's another left-handed layup from the lefty. takes her to 29 points personal now, and she's really starting to dominate this game at both ends of the floor. Oh, and Lisa Coop's just thrown that ball straight away to Lappin Cooper, who up the other end and lays it in for 2, and Chris Putton has to burn his last time out to try and stem this Leicester run. And now it lead by 14 at 83-69. It's been a real clinic in this final quarter from them. It's a 21-7 final quarter at the moment in Leicester's favour, Dave, and you see the energy and
very strong finish
and experience just coming to bear now.
And yes, they are a good all-round team. They're strong, but clearly one of the things you can't factor in is the absence of Rachel and Kaverdeschut. One would hope, with the league season on us very quickly for the WBBL, that both Rachel and Manti will be making a quick return to action.
Certainly, that's what Chris Brunton would be hoping for. I mean, he has put together a really strong squad this year, but he's had a lot of unfortunate incidents so far. He obviously lost Sarah Burkett and Marina Fernandez. Marina Fernandez, the Spaniard, who looked a really good player, but lost both of those for the season. There's Mandy McVicker, who doesn't get the role.
And of course, a girl who made a contribution with some minutes last week, Abby Lowe's not been able to play either.
Yeah. And Henrik's daughter, Holly Winterburn, yes, Hannah Robb for 3, and in it goes. And Leicester beginning to run away with this game now, and Chris Bunton looks very frustrated on the sidelines there. Ali Gorrell, Chukwu Etu, Millie Oates finds Alison Gorrell. Alison Gorrell. No, and it's another steal from Lappin Cooper as Gorrell tried to find Smith, and it's another 2 points for Lappin Cooper. Yeah. She's starting to come into her own as well. She's made some really good steals there. McVicker to Chukwu Etu. She comes inside, gives it out to Millie Oates. That 2 point shot's off. Holly Winterburn takes the rebound, and Eagles have just really collapsed here, and there's another smart move. Lappin Cooper into Henrik's daughter, and I think it's just fatigue, to be perfectly honest, on the side of the Eagles.
Yeah, that wasn't fatigue in that previous basket. That was just a bad pass, bad decision.
I think we're going to see Jesper Sundgren run his bench now. Ali Gorrell trying to find somewhere to get the ball out. Maddie McVicker, Georgia Smith for 3. That one's off, but comes back to Ali Gorrell. Ali Gorrell puts up a 3. That one's off. Henrik's daughter gets the rebound.
Fatigue certainly with Ali.
Wait the races. Lappin Cooper finds Hannah Robb in the far corner. Hannah Robb this time doesn't make the 3. And substitutions for Leicester. Georgia Smith looks exhausted as she comes off there. And Molly Taylor goes on. And first time tonight, we're seeing Kate Januska, and Whitney Allen comes on. Lappin Cooper and Kate Oliver get good rests as we go into the last 1:45. Leicester all of a sudden have just taken this game right away from the Eagles. Molly Taylor for 2. That one unfortunately doesn't go. Chukwu Etu gets a rebound. She gives it inside to Millie Oates, but Millie Oates is blocked by Holly Winterburn. I'm not sure that 90-69 quite reflects the game. I think it's just a case of the tiredness and the experience that they've shown. And the Eagles have missed a lot of shots as well later on. There's an example of Chukwu Etu getting in place to take 2 shots and missed them both. And at the other end, Henrik's daughter is able to drive round Molly Arnold and knocks it in for 2.
So tell me, Jeff, obviously, is it 2 teams from this group qualify?
Yeah.
So that is obviously the Riders and the Wildcats?
That's right, yeah.
And they go into what, the quarterfinals, the semi-finals?
Semi-finals, yes, straight semi-finals, and And it'll be, I think it's Sevenoaks, and I'm not sure who the other one is at the moment, Dave. Millie Oates makes it 2. Robin Ainge comes in place of Holly Winterburn, who takes a break. Probably that's it. 58.6 to go, 92-71. And we had hopes of the Eagles pulling this back, but Leicester have been very, very professional, very clinical, particularly in this last quarter, which they currently lead 30 points to 7. In fact, 32 points to 9, I think it is. There's a blocking foul. Eagles not in the penalty, neither side in the penalty at the moment. 40.4 to go.
You're obviously looking at the Nottingham Wildcats scored a big score yesterday against Manchester. And I think you were telling me that one of the American players hit 30 odd.
37 points and 19 rebounds with an efficiency rating of 48.
Wow.
And it was Jasmine Joyner. So it was a fantastic performance there. And, you know, Leicester have some big performances tonight as well. Chukwuetu, that one's off as well. Rebound taken by Henrik Stoter. Hannah Robb. I think, are we going to see the game out? 23 points. Robin Ainge decides she wants to have a point. Will Kate Januska score? Nice ball movement from Leicester. Hannah Robb drives in and scores.
But what a way to finish the game. Spread the floor, move the ball around, lots of movement and lots of cutting, and a great drive to finish it off by Hannah Robb. Can't dispute at all this final scoreline. They've had a tremendously strong final quarter, Jeff.
Yeah, I'll tell you how strong it was. 36-9 the final score, final quarter. And when you look at the final score, it's obviously all been done in that fourth quarter. So Eagles won't progress, but there's still plenty for them there. Plenty positives, and especially when they get their injured players back. For Leicester, that's 3-0 for the season, and they look a very strong outfit indeed, Dave. And you know, wouldn't be surprised to see them right up there at the top of the league as well.
Yeah, the only thing I haven't seen so far is any performance from Sevenoaks. I think they've had a sort of a late start in this, but you would expect them. And of course, Wildcats could be a contender. Our neighbours Durham, possibility. 2 finals last year. It didn't surprise me at all because they had a lot of talent. I'm not sure how the roster's shaping up so far this year, but WBBL looks as though it's going to be really competitive this year, which is great for the ladies' game and great for the sport of basketball in this country.
Yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure to call these first 2 games for me in this league, and really looking forward to following the league throughout the season. But as far as this group in the Cup goes, it's Leicester and Nottingham that progress to the next round, and the Eagles, as they go through their warm down, will be having to think about what they do when it comes to the league season, which is just around the corner. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening, and we'll be back Thursday night when the men's team take on London Lions in front of the Sky Sports cameras. Dave and I won't be on Sky Sports, but we are still covering it for the Keenform channel. So see you on Thursday, and thank you very much for tuning in.